10 News begins with breaking news.
Fire crews are attacking a fast-moving brush fire from the air and ground in the East County. CAL FIRE says it's burned 5 acres in Lyons Valley near Skyline Truck Trail. We have team coverage of the firefight and the weather conditions as crews put out the flames. We start with 10 News reporter Anthony Pura. He's live on scene. Anthony?
That's right. Well, the winds were a major concern out here tonight. Firefighters tell me that there were wind gusts of about 30 miles per hour in this area. Now, I want to point your direction just up this hill. You can see some crews kind of working down the hill here. They've just made their way down. Just up this hill was where that fire started. But firefighters seem to have it all under control right now. Now, firefighters were called out here around 8:30 this evening. The fire reported along Skyline Truck Trail. The fire was on the south side of the road. Now, we mentioned those winds. There were embers flying, caused 2 other brush fires to pop up in the same vicinity. Again, it's all under control now. And it is a fairly rural area out here, so there were no houses near where that fire started.
Nearest structure is probably half mile to a mile, but we had units down there providing some defense if needed.
Now, fire crews are just mopping up out here, but they are expected to stay here for a short time longer, and they will continue to monitor the situation overnight. And we're also told at this point the cause of the fire is still under investigation. We're reporting live tonight. Anthony Pura, 10 News.
Thank you, Anthony. And what a great work tonight because it is windy out there. We're still tracking very gusty conditions. Let's take a look at what the weather is like in that area. Temperatures are cooling down, but the winds, they just now disappear. They're so strong that some of our reporting stations are having a hard time reporting the actual wind conditions. But we know this is very close to, or at least south of Alpine, where the winds are being reported at 45 miles per hour. We've also seen wind gusts over 30 miles per hour in Campo, Ramona, and Julian, expecting those winds to continue overnight and into tomorrow, with our wind advisory in effect until noon tomorrow, but a warm up also on the way.
And to stay on top of all of the weather updates, you can download the 10 News mobile app. There's a free version available in the App Store. We have more breaking news now. Right now, we have Paul Anderegg at this crash. This is westbound I-8 at Waring Road. At least one driver trapped in this accident. Paul, what can you tell us?
There was actually 2 people trapped in that black car. If we can show you some video of what it looked like a little bit earlier. Now, this crash started when one vehicle crashed, spun out of control, ended up being stuck in the lane, was hit by another car. A total of 3 cars crashed in this accident. 2 people were trapped with minor injuries in that black car that you saw. The fire department had to use the jaws of life to get them out. There was another person transferred. So a total of 3 people taken to the hospital. Fortunately, all looking like minor injuries right now. They just have the left 2 lanes blocked, which should be cleared probably in about half an hour, so it shouldn't affect you if you're coming through here. We'll stay on scene here. We'll bring you more updates on 10 News this morning. Back to you.
Breaking news now out of Pasadena tonight. The LA County Sheriff is asking a car thief to return the hearse they stole, or at least the person's body that was in it. The sheriff's Twitter account asking for the return of the vehicle. The hearse was stolen from outside a church just after 8 o'clock tonight. A woman's body was inside. Officials say the hearse was just stopping by when it was stolen. An ex-employee goes on a shooting rampage at a brewing facility in Milwaukee, and now 5 families are left without their loved ones tonight. Here's what we know. 6 people are dead, including the gunman. Police say an employee was fired and returned with a gun. The more than 1,000 employees were just allowed to go back home, and that's hours after this event. ABC's Trevor Ault has the very latest on the investigation.
Tonight, multiple people are dead at a Milwaukee brewing plant. Law enforcement sources telling ABC News a disgruntled employee showed up at the Miller Coors facility with a gun.
There were 5 individuals who went to work today, and they thought they were going to go to work, finish their day, and return to their families. They didn't, and tragically, they never will.
The shots fired just after 2 p.m. Hundreds of employees ordered to shelter in place as officers rushed to respond.
Shooter still at large. See, there's a handful of officers now with their rifles. They just came out of this stairwell here and a rooftop door, and they're going into another one.
We're doing CPR on a guy here.
Neighboring schools then going on lockdown, parents hurrying to their children.
I was afraid for my dear life with my baby.
Came over here as quick as I could, seeing if I can get him out of here.
Sources tell ABC News at least 8 people were shot and the shooter died at the scene. The lieutenant governor of Wisconsin calling it a preventable tragedy.
This is something that we should never come to accept as a society.
The FBI and ATF are now both on hand, assisting as investigators work through such a large crime scene. President Trump sending his condolences.
Our hearts break for them and their loved ones. We send our condolences. We'll be with them. And it's a terrible thing.
Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
The coronavirus threat hitting a new level tonight. Doctors say a man is infected and they have no idea how. This could be the first case of person-to-person transmission out in the public. 10 News reporter Anthony Pura has more on the effort to prevent an outbreak here at home.
Doctors at UC Davis Medical Center are treating a coronavirus patient that unexplainably got infected. The patient, a resident of Solano County. It's where Travis Air Force Base is located and where evacuees from the Diamond Princess cruise ship and Wuhan, China were quarantined. But as far as doctors know, the patient had no contact with anyone infected and hasn't traveled overseas since the outbreak started, making the infection possibly the first case of person-to-person transmission in the general public. The CDC now working with state officials should there be more to come. At Los Angeles International Airport, all hands on deck as a Korean Airlines flight attendant tested positive for COVID-19. The attendant worked flights in and out of the airport.
We're disinfecting LAX every hour. We're making sure that those points of entry and those places where we could see somebody come in and create a vector are as secure as we can possibly make them.
President Trump addressed the issue head on, saying the country is prepared.
We're very, very ready for this, for anything, whether it's going to be a breakout of larger proportions or whether or not we're at that very low level.
The president also announced Vice President Pence will take the lead in the U.S. fight against coronavirus.
I look forward, Mr. President, to serving in this role, bringing together all the members of the Corona Task Force.
Anthony Pura, 10 News.
The 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo could be canceled because of the coronavirus concerns. With the Games only 5 months away, this is the final stretch for Olympic hopefuls.
Ever since I was just little, that was always my dream, was to be an Olympian.
Yesterday, the International Olympic Committee announced they have until May to decide whether or not to cancel the Games. We met 3 first-time Olympic hopefuls, and they say the decision could have major implications that go well beyond the Games.
It would be really heartbreaking, just because, this is a 10-year journey in the making.
It's devastating to even think about.
For now, it's still full speed ahead, and today Japanese officials pushed back, saying they're putting measures in place to ensure a safe event. They have no plans to cancel the Olympics.
The gentleman that started giving her CPR told me, just keep talking to her, keep her alert.
New at 11 o'clock, days after a deadly bus crash in the North County, we're learning more about the strangers that stopped to help those involved. 3 people were killed in the crash. 18 others went to the hospital. 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo met with a Good Samaritan who arrived before any of the first responders. This person comforted a woman in her last moments.
I automatically thought, oh my God, a car went over the cliff. I pulled over.
Jacqueline Hernandez never thought twice about stopping to help victims of the bus crash Saturday morning in Pala Mesa on the 15 freeway.
It was instinct, someone might need help.
Hernandez says it was pouring rain, but she jumped out of her car, asking what she could do, noticing another Good Samaritan trying to help a woman ejected from the bus.
Grabbed a blanket, immediately covered her because the rain was falling in her face.
Trying to keep her alert, she began speaking to her in Spanish, while 2 men alternated performing CPR.
Automatically, I got down on my knees, I started touching her face. I told her, be alert, you know, don't close your eyes. Help, it's on his way. You know, I kept telling her in Spanish, kept touching her face.
Eventually, paramedics told the 3 Good Samaritans the woman no longer had a pulse.
I want them to know, you know, I was there. I touched her face. I told her help was on its way, and, you know, letting her know she wasn't alone.
With help from CHP, Hernandez will now get an opportunity to meet the woman's family and is also hoping to help them financially with the funeral cost.
The true heroes, I really think, are the 2 gentlemen that gave this lady CPR for almost 20 minutes. I don't know if I would be considered a hero, but God puts people at places in the right moments.
Laura Acevedo, 10 News.
Doing the right thing. And your voice, your vote. Former Vice President Joe Biden picked up a major endorsement today. This comes ahead of Saturday's pivotal South Carolina primary. One of the most influential politicians in the state, Representative Jim Clyburn, announced he's backing Biden.
I want the public to know that I'm voting for Joe Biden. South Carolinas should be voting for Joe Biden.
Biden is still leading in South Carolina polls. The upcoming primary is the last one before the 2020 race goes national. Super Tuesday is next week on March 3rd, which includes the California primary. 10news.com is your source for complete election coverage of all important races. Just click on the Your Voice, Your Vote section at the top of the homepage to find original stories on the issues, exclusive scientific poll results, and interviews with the candidates.